Hello and welcome to the Hair and Lifestyle channel. My name is Jessica, and on this channel I don't tell you what to do or how to do it. I just show you what I do and how I do it, and you get to decide whether or not that works for you. So in one simple sentence, welcome back to the channel where we have fun with your natural hair. Now, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel. Turn on the bell so you get notified every single time I post. Give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to leave me a comment. I'd like to hear from you. That's it. Let's get into today's video. So for some time now, I've been getting a lot of questions on postpartum shedding and how I got my hair to grow back after experiencing postpartum hair loss. And this was because I had shared my experience with postpartum shedding on my other platforms. That's on my Instagram platform mainly, and people wanted to find out what I did, how I did it, the whole process of my postpartum shedding. Okay, so basically in this video what I want to do is to share my experience and then show you what I did and what I'm still doing to get my hair back to its original state, that's if it's possible. Yeah. Okay, so first, for those who might not know what postpartum shedding is or postpartum hair loss is, so postpartum hair loss is basically when you give birth and then you start shedding hair. Okay, so I am not a scientist, I'm not a hair scientist, I'm not any technical person, but so everything I'm going to be saying here is basically my experience. You make it as relatable as much as possible so that like when you watch this video you see it's like, oh yeah, like I went through similar things, so you get the vibe, right? Okay, so in my experience I have been through it twice. The first time I went through it without knowing anything really about postpartum shedding. I didn't even know that it existed. I just knew especially from my mom telling me before I gave birth that once you're about to give birth you have to braid your hair and tuck it away, because the hair tends to break after you giving birth. So once you don't braid it and put it away, or you don't cover it, a head scarf and all of that, your hair will break. So that's as much as I knew about postpartum shedding. So I went through it. My hair didn't start breaking immediately. So now that's the thing. So for a lot of people, they don't experience it immediately after giving birth. Others to experience it immediately after the giving birth. In my case, I didn't experience it immediately after birth. It took a while. I think I started noticing it after I had finished breastfeeding. Okay, so this was almost a year after I had given birth. That's when I started noticing it. So I started losing my edges first. My edges were gone. You would think a rat came in the night and then chewed on my edges, but my edges were gone. And my hair itself was it was thinning out, but it wasn't as bad, if I knew that this is what it was it was postpartum shedding, I'm sure I wouldn't have panicked the way I did at the time, and then I wouldn't have done a whole lot of things that I did, because I think the things that I did in reaction to my hair going was what caused me to shed even more. So once I started noticing that my hair was thinning out, I became alarmed because it wasn't normal. And like I said, I didn't know that it was a thing, so it's supposed to be a normal thing. So you're supposed to rather take care of the hair to prevent more breakage than was actually supposed to happen. Okay, so I started doing all these kinds of things. I started trying, I was just watching videos and things. Me that knew how to take care of hair was as if now I didn't even know anything about hair. So I started watching all kinds of videos, reading about all kinds of things, trying out, just name it, products, a whole lot of things. And I didn't know what I was expecting from all the trials that I was doing. So I was just doing it because I don't know, okay, I heard this prevents your hair from breaking, then I do it. And it was rather putting more pressure on my hair. So what I didn't know at the time was that at the postpartum stage, your hair is already fragile. So less at that stage is more. Leaving the hair alone, like doing just what you're supposed to do, i.e. washing it, making sure that it's clean, and then putting it into a protective style, not neglecting it, taking care of it, and but not doing all those extra things that I was doing. That's what my hair needed, but I didn't know that. So like trying all these products, putting all these things, like these concoctions and whatever you can think of, was rather weakening my hair. So what saved me was I got pregnant again before I even knew that, yeah, like it happened. And then fast forward to I delivered. So now I had 2 babies under 2 years. And now I didn't have that extra time that I had to be doing all these concoctions and googling all these things. I didn't have that. Okay. But at this time, from my past experience online, I had heard a few things about postpartum shedding. So now I started to, like research on it, like find out what it was, like, what to expect and all of that. So I knew that by the time baby number 2 came, I knew that there was something called postpartum shedding. So fast forward to I had baby number 2, and then I didn't have time to be doing all these extra things. So the only thing I could afford to do was wash my hair, and that one was not even as often as I would have wanted it to be, but like, often enough not to give baby cold and like that whole thing. So I had to wash my hair because I had to wash it, and then not put too much in my hair because I have to be on the lookout for smell. Babies and their sensitive nose, so I had to look out for smell, like all those things. So I literally cut out all those extra things that I was doing, and this is when my hair just turned around. I didn't notice it immediately. Also, after some time, I realized that my hair had just become full, and like my hair was fine. And it was like I didn't do anything to my hair, and then my hair became fine. So I'm like, okay. Now I have some knowledge, so I can come online and put myself out there and teach people a few things, So I started that. I repurposed my Instagram page, and then I became like this natural hair influencer things. And what I was not ready for, that I didn't know I was ready for, was the pressure that came with, always having to do something to your hair because you want to show somebody something, like you want to show people out there something, or you want to do a tutorial and all that. So basically my hair was not out of the woods yet. I should probably give my hair a little more time before like jumping on the train of trying products all over again and everything. But at the time, well, I thought, okay, my hair was doing well, and like now I was out of it and all of that. So I think 2 years down the line, my hair started, like it just became bad. This time it was the postpartum shedding coupled with all the extra things that I was doing in the name of being a natural hair influencer. Now I don't regret it because it helped me, and it helped other people, because as I was doing all that, I was sharing my experience, share my journey, like sharing my story with people. I realized that more people kept sending me DMs. So what did you do about this? How did you? Sorry about the sounds. So people started asking questions. Okay, so like it wasn't entirely bad, and yeah, that's what happens. Like that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I do it so you don't have to do it, Fast forward to the point where I realized that I needed to pull the brakes on every extra thing that I was doing. Get my hair to, like, actually be out of the postpartum shedding phase completely. And then I can go back to whatever it was I wanted to go back to, this time with more knowledge and everything. So that was why I started my whole hair challenge, my 6-month hair challenge. If you don't know about that, I'll link the video in the description or leave a link somewhere up here so you can, watch that and see what the journey is about. Now to what I have been doing. So my first thing I learned was less is more when it comes to dealing with your hair. Even if it's not going through the postpartum hair loss stage, less is always more. So the main and most important thing is to wash your hair. Now, I wouldn't put a timeline to how often you should wash your hair or not, because I found out that the frequency of washing hair differs from like person to person. So in my situation, I wash my hair weekly. I try to wash my hair weekly. Sometimes I default. Now, the reason why I wash my hair weekly is because I know a lot of people don't like, are not about that life anymore, but I use oils and butters. I use pomade, like hair pomades and those kinds of things. I use them, and what they do is they coat your hair. So once you're using that, you know you have to wash your hair frequently so that you are, taking ridding your hair of all the build up and extra debris that these products cause. Okay, so less is more. Like I said, wash your hair. That's the main thing. So now, even if you wash your hair and you don't put any product on it, like you wash your hair often and you don't put any product on it, I feel I haven't tried it, so I feel that's better than using all the products in the world that claim to be growing hair fast and claim to be like solving problems and all of that. Yeah, so just wash your hair. That's the main thing, the first thing. Now, another thing that helped me, that is still helping me, is scalp massages. Like, I cannot overemphasize scalp massages. Okay, so I don't know exactly what scientific proof there is like that is backing it, but I also saw it somewhere and I tried it and it's worked for me. So that's why I'm confident to put it out there. So with a scalp massage, you can either use an oil or you can use just not use anything. And you can do it at any time, like wherever you find yourself. So in my case, I focus more on my edges. Like now I can do these kinds of hairstyles and my edges don't look that bad because they're growing out, obviously. So scalp massages, massage your scalp, do whatever, like do it till you are satisfied. And what scalp massages does is it opens up your pores, so it allows your hair to grow out, yeah. And then it also relieves you of like stress. It's a good stress reliever. When you're in a good state in your body, your hair grows. Yes, when you're feeling fine, your hair grows, like it's inward. So that leads me to the next point, which I am not doing so well with: diet. So you should be eating well. Okay, when you're pregnant, you find out that your hair is in its best state. This is because you are fending for two people. So you even if you don't want to eat, your body is calling for like good food, like nourishment. Okay, but now that you've given birth, if you don't make a conscious effort, you will not eat well. Like you can easily neglect your diet, which is what I have been doing, that I'm not so proud of, that I'm working on. So what you have to vegetables and everything. I can't believe I'm talking about vegetables, but I'm trying. Like these days, I'm trying to be good with my vegetables, and I know that if I was like really good with them, you see me and you won't be able to look at my hair. Like, let me just say that. Like, you see me, you can't look at my hair. So like, yeah, eat well. Let me put it that way. Eat well. Whatever eating well means for you, just do that. Drink a lot of water. Like, drink a lot of water, because dehydration can cause your hair to break. So if you're not drinking enough water, you should be well sure that you're going to be losing more hair than you should actually be losing, because your hair will also be dry. Basically, what happens is, with the human system, once the body is lacking something, it will draw it from everywhere else. And the part of your body that's going to suffer the most, or that's more likely to suffer the most, is your hair. So if you are dehydrated and there's nowhere to draw water from to allow your body to function, your body will draw out water from your hair. Yes. Now, if if I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments. Okay. But I think it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. So you want to drink a lot of water. Another thing too is, make sure that your ends are always tucked in. So if you decide to go for braids, okay, so let me make this a 2-in-1. So whatever style you decide to choose postpartum, like in your postpartum phase, make sure that these styles are not tight at the roots and make sure that your ends are always tucked away. Make sure that the styles are also not styles that are difficult to take down, i.e. styles that if you don't get somebody to help you, you can't take them down, or if you don't go to the salon, you can't take them down. Now, if you know that you can't take care of your hair and you have to go to the salon, it's okay to do that. Just make sure that whatever you are doing, you're not neglecting your hair, you're not making your hair suffer. Okay, so that your hair is not suffering for your choices. Yeah. Another thing too is, if you are an oils and butters person like me, make sure that you are using oils and butters that are more on the lighter side and are not putting weight on your hair, because you don't want like the products that are weighing down your hair, because your hair is already in a gullible state. Like your hair is already like not strong enough to carry those extra products, so you want to go a little lightweight on the products. One last thing too, when as you are making sure that your styles are not putting pressure on your roots, also make sure that they are not putting pressure on your edges too. What I find is that, like, when my edges are not looking nice, my hair tends to like just like it's just not good. So take care of your edges, and then you would notice that it makes the rest of your hair also look good. Yeah, so that's basically my experience and some of the things that are helping me grow back my hair postpartum. One thing I want to say finally is that postpartum hair loss doesn't have like a defined time frame. There's no defined time frame, like say, okay, within 6 months you should be out of postpartum, you should be out of the postpartum shedding state. What I have realized is that it all depends on you, your hair practices, like the practices you decide to adopt and everything. So what you do to your hair will determine whether you would experience more shedding, or whether you experience less shedding, or whether you not experience shedding at all. Because from watching other YouTubers and people like share their experiences online, some people don't go through postpartum shedding at all. I'm sure others do, but it's not that bad, so they don't really pay mind to it. So yeah, once you take care of your hair well, I think your timeline should be shorter than mine. And then also, don't be too worried about your hair. Don't be too like, what should I do? Like, like, just relax. That's also very important, because when you are relaxed and everything, like, your body functions properly, and then your hair will also grow, like I keep saying. So that's it. That's basically my 2 cents on the topic. If you have any other questions you would like me to answer, please go ahead and leave me a comment. I would love to respond to you. I would love to hear from you. And if there's anything you want me to like elaborate more on, also leave it in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on the bell, like this video, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye.